Okay, kids, we made it through the first 2 rounds. Let's see what we got for our gifts for number 3 and 4. Mr. Mike, take it away.
Yes, we've got the tree is underneath the tree is filling up, but we've still got a lot of space left.
What tree? I don't have a tree.
That's true. You don't
Yeah,
have, you don't, that's right. The hypothetical tree. Does that work? Maybe?
No.
No.
I feel very
Okay.
offended. I feel offended now.
So we're going on to our third round, and we'll start with Mary.
All right, let's third time's the charm, and let's have Batman.
Oh, Jim Lee Batman collection.
This is again.
These are awesome.
Aren't they cool?
What are they?
There's a whole collection of you actually get 3, I think, in this collection.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Oh, very cool.
Batman and Joker.
Oh, so these are Legos.
They're Lego sets.
Okay, that is awesome.
Aren't they cool? And you can they combine with other sets that you can get. So it just
they're like the dots, like they're just the little dots, and they make a picture on a frame.
So it's like needlepoint sort of, but it's Lego point.
Yes, it's Lego point.
You're recreating Batman art by Jim Lee using little tiny Legos. That's amazing.
When I first saw it, I thought it was kind of light brightish.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
That's what I thought first. I remember doing Light Bright as a kid. And
it was either that or
so much of that.
It was also reminding me a little bit of the paint by numbers type thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's interesting. I like it.
Last year, my brother-in-law, we do homemade gifts, and he made me one of these, but you can actually, people have figured out like how to make characters that Lego doesn't make, and you can just buy the little the colored dots. And he made Arnold Schwarzenegger from Terminator.
Oh, that's awesome.
Very cool.
So there's just a lot of, but each like this one has Batman. You can do a Batman, or you can change it and do a Joker, and it's really cool. And they do like musicians too.
Very nice.
They have a whole bunch of different collections. Jim Lee is heading DC Comics right now. He actually started with Marvel as an artist, and then he had his own imprint. Was it Image Comics?
With Image Comics, yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the founders of Image back in the early 90s.
And then he sold it to DC. But I just love the way these characters look. This is one of my favorite looks from the comics. They're just beautifully done. And just lots of fun to build, to play. Who doesn't like playing with Legos?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very like adultish for Legos, because it's not like, I mean, for those people who are listening can't see it. You're not building like 3D sets or figures. This is like they're like artwork that you put on your wall or something, right?
They're almost
like an art canvas.
They're like mosaics.
Right.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
And you get all these little all these little colored tiles that you stick onto the board in the frame, and that create a picture. And the picture is very, very vibrant, very colorful.
God, you would have to have patience of a saint to do this, though. You really would. It does not look like it would be. It's like for the enthusiast of the 5,000 piece jigsaw puzzle or something like that, or 10,000 piece. It's the same kind of, little details you have to fit in everywhere. So that's pretty awesome.
It's a challenge.
That's very cool. Yeah, we adults need excuses to play with Legos, I guess, these days. So but it's very cool. Very cool. All right, Kevin, we'll go with you next.
Sure. All right. I think, what did I have up next? Oh, okay. This is sort of a fun, more of a sciencey themed kind of a book, I think. In full disclosure, this book is written by a good friend of mine. So hopefully we can throw a little business her way. Let me bring my screen up. This book is called Beyond Bigfoot and Nessie: Lesser Known Mystery Animals from Around the World.
Oh, cool.
The author is Kate Shaw. Kate is a podcaster like us. She does a show called Strange Animals Podcast.
Oh, I know Kate.
You know
Yes.
Kate. Yeah, she's a Dragon Con regular as well. Yeah. And she's fantastic. I've known Kate for 30 years or so now. I think we go way back to the early 90s. And yeah, she's terrific. And yeah, her show is about real animals, the strange animals that actually exist in the world. And also she'll do a little investigating into kind of cryptids and mystery animals and stories. And is this for real? Is there real evidence of this creature or not? But she takes a very evidence-based scientific approach. So you don't get the wacky stuff. You get, here's the real deal on if this creature could really exist or not. And so it's like a fun, short weekly podcast. And all along I was thinking, wow, she could turn this into a book. And Kate was one step ahead of me because she had that very thought in mind, I think, and she did it. So a lot of these chapters are based on her podcast episodes as well. But it's a big, beautiful book that you could just get lost in. It's tons of chapters and animals and creatures are covered throughout it. Really interesting, fun stuff. And a particular favorite of mine is the Dover Demon, because in Dover, Massachusetts, there's a legend of a creature called the Dover Demon, which she covers in here. So since that's in my neighborhood, so I like that one. But Kate is terrific. This book is great. So Beyond Bigfoot and Nessie is my recommendation. I have given this as a gift already.
Oh, awesome. It looks great. Is this now the subject matter and everything and the presentation of the book looks to be, is it okay for all ages?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Cool.
As is her podcast. Yeah, she has a lot of young listeners. I believe she's careful about approaching things in an all ages format. So yeah, this would be it's kid friendly. It's for adults. It's not a kid's book, but it's there's nothing in it that you would want to hide from the children.
Right. But this is like definitely, I mean, I was into Bigfoot and Nessie and In Search Of and all of that stuff back in the day. And
yeah,
Mhm.
and
I
In
remember
Search Of
reading.
was just crazy. That they would
No, sure.
they would just say whatever they want on In Search Of, and hey, it's Mr. Spock, so I guess he speaks the truth. But well, no, not really. But you can trust Kate.
But
she's giving you the real story on these
ate
guys.
all this stuff up, and it's cool. This definitely would have been on my reading list at that point. So
Yeah.
Very cool. I love it. All right, since we're talking about books, I guess I will go next with my second book pick of the of this round of gift guiding. And people who know me know that I like classic movies. I love TCM, and I like some strange movies as well. And this book kind of fits the bill of speaks to me on that. It's called It's called TCM Underground, 50 must-see films from the world of classic cult and late-night cinema. This is a hodgepodge put together by a couple of authors. I'm going to attempt to say their names, and I do apologize for any butchery that goes on, but Quatoya Murray is one of the authors, and the other one is Millie D. Chirico. Now, Millie is cool, not just because she's an author, co-author of this book, but she also does the programming for TCM Underground, which you can see every Friday night at 2 a.m. There's a double feature of really weird movies. You never know what's going to be on. I mean, you can look at the schedule and find out, but there's no, sometimes it doesn't seem like there's any rhyme or reason to it. She may show a John Waters movie 1 week, and then the next it'll be like a slasher movie. I mean, you just never know. And it's quite exciting to have that feature as part of TCM, I think. She also, I think used to be, I don't know if she still is, but she used to be associated with the, it's called the Videodrome, right? In Little Five. It's a place that still rents videos. I don't think they have tapes, but they have DVDs that you can rent and everything like that. And then I think there's some association with the Plaza Theater as well, which is a independent theater here in Atlanta. So Millie is in the Atlanta area, and And so I like to support Atlanta folks too, local people who are doing really cool things. And this book, TCM has a lot of great books. We have talked about them in the past. We had the author of the classic horror books, sort of the must-see lists. And these are great collections. Obviously, it's debatable whether or not, this is not really a top. This is not saying that these movies are the best of the best. These are just movies that they're recommending that everybody should check out if you're in the mood for something different. There's I don't know exactly what is in this book as far as all 50 of them, but it's kind of cool to go through and see how many I've seen and how many I'd like to see. So, and yeah, you can see more of a description if you're watching on the video, but you can get this available. It's published by Running Press, but you can get this, it's available through all booksellers, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. There is going to be, if you're in the Atlanta area, there is going to be a book signing. You'll have to see, you'll have to check where, like Millie's pages, her Instagram and Twitter, if that's still around, Facebook and whatnot, to see what, I can't remember the bookstore and the date and all the details, but she did have another one, a book signing at the Plaza Theater. So she's doing local book signings around. So if you do want to buy the book and get it signed, check to see what her schedule is this month, and you can see her in person.
That is awesome.
Very cool.
Very nice.
So I'm a fan of TCM Underground also, Mike. When I think of it on Friday, I'll pull up the directory and see what in the world are they showing in the middle of the night tonight, and should I record it?
I know, right?
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna see.
Yeah, I think recently, I don't know if it's coming up or they just did it. I get confused sometimes, but I think recently they had a documentary on one of the cast members of one of the Friday Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
I think this past weekend it was a couple of like obscure Jamie Lee Curtis movies when I looked.
Yes, they showed, I think, Blue Steel and Road Games.
Yes.
So yeah, you never know what's going to be on there. So I think it's and usually TCM is known for being stuck in the mud, showing classics, movies and snobbery like Citizen Kane and all of that. But they have a lot of fun too. So this sort of celebrates that side of the network as well. So so cool. All right. So Richard, I think are you next? Yes, I think you are.
Sure. Let's see here. Let me get to my screen here. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, no, we went black. I don't think I can't see anything.
Not yet.
No.
Hold on.
The joy of technical difficulties, folks.
Oh yeah.
There's always something.
It's okay. We'll get through it.
There you go.
Yay.
What is this?
What is this? and Richard, and there's only 3 of them left. It's awesome. So you better hurry up, folks. Richard, you're
muted again.
Richard, you muted yourself again.
Yeah. So
yeah, we can't hear you, Richard.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Sorry. Okay.
And
So
this is why we call this ESO Raw.
And I love horror movies. So this blends the two together. And this is a website called pinsploitation.com. So she makes horror pins, mainly horror pins. So we've got like My Bloody Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, I've actually seen
and they're
that.
really, the artwork's really good. The pins are great quality. Let's see. So X is one of my favorite movies right now, and Pearl. Those are big time movies. She made 4 different pins for X, and then she made 2 different pins for Pearl. But then if you like old school stuff, we've got Pamela from Friday the 13th, and just different things. Trish and Tommy from Friday the 13th. So there's just some of the stuff is out of stock and some is limited, but there's a lot to choose from on her website. So pensploitation.com is just a really cool thing. So
Her
I love
prices are
them. I
very
think they're great
That's
reasonable.
pens.
very cool stuff. I like how
Yeah.
it's die cut too. It's really awesome.
Yeah. I mean, they're good quality just for the $10, and she did she did 4 different X ones and they all sold out. And then she made another run and I think they're about to sell out too. This is one of my favorite ones of the colors on that.
Yeah, that's great.
So yeah, great enamel pen. Enamel pens are a nice, they're good stocking stuffers too.
These images, like, they're so specific that if you're just out in the world wearing one of these pens, people are either gonna be completely baffled or it's your new best friend because they get it.
Right.
That is what I love about horror specifically. Yeah, some of the horror can be very, not known. Like even Pearl, like this one, it's just you know, looks like Wizard of Oz with an axe.
Exactly. You'll be like, oh, is she helping the Tin Woodsman or something?
But Pensploitation she's really awesome and she has really cool pens. So
That's awesome. That is very, very cool. All right. I guess since Mr. Mike Gordon stepped away, up there he is.
back.
Yes, I'm here to introduce you, Mike.
Well,
last but certainly not least.
You know what? I will go ahead then, because my next one is, a lot of people don't really ever think it is the Christmas season until they see Hans Gruber falling from
Yes.
the Manitomi building.
Love this.
And so I found this little ditty. It's a great, great book. It's a Die Hard Christmas. It's the illustrated holiday classic that basically rhymes, the typical, as they go, it was all quiet in the house, and it was awesome. And so it basically is twas the night before Christmas. And, and it of course ends with, yippee-ki-yay, so you might want to be careful with
That's awesome.
It's very cute. It's
everything.
the art it's like a children's book illustrated version of Die Hard that we're looking at right now. That's really cute.
It is awesome. And
now I want to see a Rankin Bass animated version of Die Hard now. Stop motion.
I want to see who they would get for the voices though, for that. But it's awesome. And I saw this and I saw it at the store and it's like, yep, this is one of them that I'm going to be doing. And we're looking at it from our friends over at Walmart, but you can get it at Amazon, you can get it at Barnes and Noble or wherever you get refined books from. It's pretty awesome.
That is cool. That's very cool.
And it's written by Doogie Horner and illustrated by J.J. Harrison. And the illustrations look amazing in this. And and it rhymes, and it rhymes all the way through, and it's perfect.
That's great.
That's cool.
So definitely.
Yeah, I think they also have a Die Hard coloring book too. I mean, they've really gone all out with Die Hard stuff. So I know that there's Die Hard ornaments that you can hang on your tree.
Sure.
So yeah, they've really embraced the fact that they are a Christmas movie.
Well, there's the Hans Gruber Advent calendar also,
Oh yeah, right. Where he's like falling. That's right.
Every day he's falling from the Nakatomi Towers. So it's pretty awesome.
Have you seen the homemade ornament where it has you take like a box and put aluminum foil in it, and then you tape a picture of John McClane going through the air duct with the lighter? That's great.
That's awesome.
So that was my that was my third round.
That's third round. Okay, so we are going to our penultimate round, fourth round out of 5. And for this round, I think I guess I'll start. This is something that I've known about this for a few years, and I think I don't know if I've ever put this out there as an idea, but I certainly think about it every year doing it myself. But it is a book in some ways, but it's so much more than that. So I'm not sure how many people are out there are familiar with Storyworth. But Storyworth is an interesting idea. It's about preserving memories. And certainly you can do this yourself. You can make a book about yourself, but I think where the real potential of this comes from getting stories from your parents, your siblings, your aunts, your uncles, your grandparents. What this service does is throughout the year, it asks, like, it sends an email to your, like, let's say you want your mother to do this. So it sends your mother every week a question. And the question can be something like, how did you meet your first love? Or what was your like biggest accomplishment in high school? Or, what's your favorite color? It's things like that nature. They vary. There's so many other questions, and you can choose them as well. You can choose certain questions that you want asked as well. And then they respond, usually with a story or however best they can. And so you have this collection at the end of the year of all these memories, all these stories from your mother, your father, your aunts, uncles, like I said, people in your life. And they put it together in a nice book. You provide some photos and everything like that. And then you've got a collection of stories and memories from people that you love. I think it's just an amazing idea. There's a couple of other services that do this as well. From what I could tell, Storyworth does this better than most. Like they have sample questions. What things matter to you most in life? What's the best advice you've had? Who are your favorite artists? Things like that. Things that you would probably never think to ask your parents or your sister or anything like that, and you might be surprised at some of the answers that you get. And then you have it all collected, and it's something that certainly if you have kids you can pass down. I just think it's an amazing thing to have, provided that you have people that will participate, obviously. And I think the subscription starts at like $89. So you can get you can get a book for $89, and everything is included with that. That's the basics. Of course, you can upsell from there, but I think it's just a really cool idea. And whether you're a geek or not, I think it's something that everybody wants to look at what like their DNA was, and you get the sort of historical records that way of what your family tree was. But this is really talking about like experiences and stories and memories. And heck, I said before that you might not want to do, or you might not necessarily want to do this for yourself, because it seems like kind of it's a little bit self, it's in your self-interest. But then again, the way my memory's going, I should probably start doing this now, because probably by a year from now, I'm going to forget a lot of this stuff anyway. So anyway, thought it was a really cool idea. I don't know if you guys have heard of this service before, or have I don't know, Mary and Mike, have I talked about this before? Because I've always thought of it would be a cool idea to do.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think so, but it's a fantastic idea. I mean,
it's a great idea.
Yeah,
it
especially
is really.
Once you get to the age where you're losing members of your family, losing your parents, losing your aunts and uncles, I think this would be a real treasure to have as a way to remember them by.
I would even say, Mike, like you feel like, am I being such an egomaniac if I sign up for this thing myself and fill it out myself?
Right.
But what you're doing though that's a gift to the future, to people who do care and are interested in you. You're laying all this out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are things that you would never think to things that, I mean, certain things come up with different, people in conversations and everything. But, there's a lot of things that I don't recall from, about my loved ones, and that's nothing, on them. It's just more like my memory or whatever. But still, for those people who don't have a photographic memory, people like me, this will provides like actual, like something you could look at to help you remember stuff. I was even thinking it would be kind of cool from a geek perspective of like if someone does a lot of conventions and all that kind of stuff, it'd be great to have like this book of your memories from different conventions and things you've done over the years, stuff like that. Like I think this really is open to a lot of different possibilities. And it looks like like I said, it's put together like really well, I think, though the covers and with the pictures and everything, it just looks really classy, I think. So although I can't help but notice on one of the images that they're showing, they misspelled the word Massachusetts. So so maybe never mind.
Oops.
Maybe never mind. Maybe go with another service. But there's a couple, like I said, a couple of other services that do this, but right now they're doing this. It's on sale, so you can check them out at storyworth.com.
I mean, you can forgive a lot of things, but misspelling Massachusetts.
Unforgivable. Unforgivable.
All right.
Could I actually request that I go next? Because
absolutely. You know what, Kevin? I was actually going to point the baton in your direction.
I ask because it's eerie what a smooth transition this is going to be.
Okay.
What I had up next. Let me cue up my book here.
Probably one of the competitors. No, just kidding.
Well, sort of, in a way, perhaps. But
it's a spelling book.
I have a book called How to Spell Massachusetts.
Nice.
You don't even have to buy it. Just look at the cover. There's the answer right there. I have another book, and this is another full disclosure. This is an old friend of mine, and this is one of his books. Let me pull this up. Here we go. All right, so the book that we're looking at is called Someday is Today, 22 Simple Actionable Ways to Propel Your Creative Life. And this is by Matthew Dix. If you can see real tiny down here, it's hard to see on the screen, author of Storyworthy. That service that you were talking about was called Storyworth. Matthew also has a book called Storyworthy. Unrelated, but Matthew Dix and I knew him when I was a little kid. We rode the school bus together, but he is a novelist and a storyteller, among many other things. He does a million things. If you listen to The Moth, the storytelling show on NPR or their podcast or whatever, that you've heard Matthew Dix. He is a very popular Moth storyteller. I believe he's the most winningest competitor in Moth history. Whenever he competes, he tends to win a lot because he's that good at telling stories from his life. And so that's one side of what he does, is teaching people how to tell their stories. And he's written that book, Storyworthy. He has another book on that same subject coming out, and he does all sorts of online courses and things about teaching people to tell their stories, preserve their memories, just that kind of thing that the people at Storyworth are doing. This book is connected, but people always ask Matthew, how does he do everything he does? Because he's a guy that accomplishes a lot. He's a full-time teacher, but he also writes novels, and he also does his stories for The Moth, and he runs his own storytelling live events, and does consults with businesses and does tons of stuff. How does he do it? And he tells you in this book, Someday is Today. And it's really, and especially for people who have creative pursuits, as we all do, whether you're a podcaster, if you want to write a novel, you're trying to get your comic book off the ground, you want to record songs, whatever your dream is, a business. And I just don't have the time. It's so hard to find the time. This book teaches you strategies for how to maximize your time to accomplish your goals. I'm not a self-help guy. I tend to run screaming from anybody trying to sell some kind of a self-help program or book, but this is not that. This is special. I know this guy. He's for real. He really does everything that he lays out in this book. And he's a guy that treasures time. He understands the most valuable thing that any of us has is our time. And this is all about using your time the best way you can, not wasting time at all. Anywhere you can trim the fat out of your life as far as how you're spending your time, all kinds of strategies for how to do that and how to propel your creative life, as it says here on the cover. So I definitely recommend checking this out. Someday is today.
That's awesome.
I feel very
That sounds
I feel very
great.
seen.
We all do.
We're looking at you, Gordon.
We all do, Mike.
So I just want to put that out there. It's like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. But no, that's really cool. And you never know that, and it's good to always have someone recommend someone that you trust, because you never know, because like you said, Mike, Kevin, there's so many like things out there that are like, get your life together, or do this, do that, or whatever. Here's how you can manage your time. Here's how you can do this and that, and a lot of it is just people taking advantage.
Yeah, no, you can learn a lot of good stuff from Matthew Dix, but both this book and his online things. He has great videos of like TED Talks that he's done that are just terrific. He's really a great both storyteller and teacher. And,
awesome.
This book is a great place to start.
So we've got all these books. Mike, are you going to put? Do we need to make more room on the bookshelf, or do you got something else?
No, I got something else. I got something actually pretty cool, actually, that I found. You know how this last fall we all were watching Rings of Power, the prequel to the Lord of the Rings. Well, our friends over at Uncommon Goods has come up with a Fellowship of the Maps street art, art. It's awesome. And so each state of the United States done like the maps of Middle Earth.
Wow.
Oh, this is awesome.
And everything.
Just like the map in my paperback of The Hobbit a million years ago. That's
exactly.
Yes.
So you have each state literally you could select, and you can go through. You could look at Massachusetts, and boom, there's you could get it, and
they even spelled it correctly.
I was
exactly.
Yes.
And they even call it the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Yep, it is.
That's correct.
That's correct.
And it even has like the mountain ranges and the passes and how the rivers go through it. It looks like the old time J.R.R. Tolkien maps and everything.
Yeah,
It is
terrific.
very awesome. And you can get them, it's only $65 each, which is not it when you think about it, for some really quality artwork, that's pretty cheap.
No, that's very good. That's very reasonable.
Do they come framed, Mike? Does it say?
I don't think it comes framed. So
okay, that's still great though.
Yeah, exactly. Paper, wood,
So it's
plexiglass.
paper, wood, plexiglass. So it looks
So,
like
they do come
framing is
framed.
part of it.
Oh wow.
So
That's
there you
very
go.
reasonable.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's really awesome. And
Yeah, each frame print. Oh yeah, that's great.
And so like the California one was the one that it was featured in all the different mountain ranges. It's like, well, that could be Middle Earth right there,
Yeah. A lot of things in common.
Exactly. So it's pretty cool. So, it's neat to see, and, for Richard, of course, you'd have Tennessee. And look, they don't even have Tennessee.
Oh,
Oh,
I was going to order one.
Well, just think of, Florida's in there, even
maybe next year.
Next year they'll have it. So, but it's pretty darn awesome. And so it was an original idea, and I saw it. It was like, oh, that would be great.
Yeah,
that would be really
That
awesome.
is very cool.
Yep. So it's cool. And it's only like you can get it within 2 weeks. So, which is pretty neat to do. And so, yeah, definitely check it out. It's a fun little gift. And you know what? It's, it's original, and it's, very thoughtful, because, here's Georgia, and, all the mountains at the top and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it even has pictures of spiders and stuff up there. So it's perfect.
It should have a like right next to Atlanta. It should have a big dragon.
That would be cool.
Absolutely. There should be here be dragons morning. Parked right outside the Marriott.
Here be dragons with an arrow pointing towards it. Yeah.
So this is where dragons live. Yeah, Dragon Con. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Mhm.
But no, that is sweet. That is very clever of someone to do that. That's really neat. And yeah, hopefully they'll do like all the states at some point.
Sorry, Richard.
Yeah.
It's fine.
It's
So
okay.
you'll just have to get one from another state and say it's Tennessee.
Yeah.
Nobody will notice.
Yeah.
Nobody. No.
No. Get Missouri and just put in the word Tennessee on it. They're both wide states.
Scribble it out.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Richard, what do you got for us?
Oh, let's see here. Well, I didn't have a book, but I do have
I think between Kevin and I, we've got everybody's books
subscription.
covered.
I know,
Oh.
right?
Oh,
That's kind of cool.
is this a new magazine?
So you can see it. Yes. So okay. So
What is
Gore
this?
Noir magazine. It's basically, I mean, it's a it's Fangoria, Horror Hound. There's all sorts of magazines out there that kind of do the love of horror thing, but Gore Noir is really cool because um, uh, so these magazines specifically are VHS sized. So they're like fanzines almost. He
Oh,
does
wow.
regular magazine ones, but you can get all 6 of these for $40, which I think is a really, really good deal. And they focus on a movie on each issue. So they interview people from the movie, they show artwork, they have different people just writing articles about it. So in the set that they have now is The Thing, Terrifier, which with the sequel literally killing the box office, that's relevant. Chucky, they have Pool Party Massacre, The Gate, and I think they do one on Horrible Kids, which is great artwork, kind of like Garbage Pail Kids, but they do horror characters. So if you have a horror fan in your life, this is something that they probably don't have. And you can get different magazines, different digests. He has just different things available. He's interviewed the band Ghost. He's had just really, really famous people in there. And yeah, so it's just a really cool thing, and it's a very indie, so us horror people love that kind of um just one just people fans doing it for the love of horror. And so he does a tribute to Nightmare on Elm Street, and yeah, just something really cool. It's Gore, that's Gore Noir, NOIR magazine .com, and yeah, you can buy all the stuff there.
That's
Awesome.
That's very cool. I love the
his name's
fact that
Mitch Rafter, and he's really cool. He's a cool guy too.
I love the fact that he formats them in the shape, or same size and shape and look of a VHS.
Yeah, that's kind of a new thing that he started doing. He was doing full-size magazines, but that's just more expense and stuff. And so he was only doing them like quarterly. And so with the smaller magazines, he's able to do more. So he did a They Live tribute. So just, yeah, lots of cool stuff over there.
Very cool. Very
That's
cool. Well,
awesome.
that's very cool. At the risk of probably stealing one of Mary's ideas, because I think Mary probably had that on her list of gory stuff, because she's always bringing us the gore.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
You know me so well.
So if you need a minute to regroup before you give yours, Mary.
No, I'm ready, and it's going to be something completely different.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
This is the palate clean.
This is
cleanser.
no Gore Mary. Okay, got it.
This is very white bread now. This is celebrating the second greatest pairing of all time. The first one is, of course, chocolate and peanut butter. This is coffee and chocolate.
Oh,
Okay.
yum.
Actually,
But what makes this special is
Kevin's
that
ears just perked up.
is
Oh,
that that it is, first of all, very reasonably priced. And second of all, supporting small independent roasters and artisanal chocolate makers. And so I always want to support small businesses. And, you know, who doesn't love coffee and chocolate? I mean, you just can't go wrong there. And so that's why I chose it. I mean, you know, you can sit there reading your Gore magazine.
Nice tie-in.
Drinking your artisanal coffee and eating your artisanal chocolate, and how could you not be completely blissed out after that?
I would love to see the Venn diagram for people who would buy both of these items. It's probably only people who are listening to this.
Probably is.
But that's awesome. You know, always, that's the other thing too. I mean, I you know, when shopping, try to support independent people, try to support like causes, try to support like everything you can, because like big business is going to make out like bandits every year during the holiday season, but it's all the little guys that really need the help. So anything that can be done in any way, I think is a special shout out. So
exactly,
it's really cool.
I know Amazon is a big evil corporation, but there's actually a lot of independent sellers on Amazon. You have to consider that. You know, there's a lot of these small companies that are using Amazon to promote their products, and I like to support them.
Yes, that is very true. A lot of you know, self-published book authors that I know, including the Tales from the Station book series,
which is always a good gift.
It's available on Amazon. So yeah, so that's
yep, they're still up there. Shocker.
They are still up there. They haven't kicked us off yet. So but yet. So
I'm sure it's only a matter of time.
Right. So very cool. Well, that concludes our fourth round. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to you know, give our final picks, final gift ideas.
The lightning round.
Yeah, maybe try to squeeze in some honorable mentions before we close the show. So